right. Well, if that's the case, let's get right to it. Something going on tonight that I should know about that the oilam's not on?
What do you want to schmooze about, Siako? We're listening
about
ears here.
anything.
Jacob, we got to get to that. It feels like
Last
that
night
the
was
middle,
nice.
the
Oh,
the
you got
middle
some-
of winter, the middle of winter's man lull.
I hear. Let me tell you. Okay, tonight's stuff is at least a shtickle interesting. Then we start with now. After that, we start with the moon and all that stuff. It really gets yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. 2 weeks ago, whatever.
I haven't been here. Which one is it?
Anyways, okay, might as well get going with it, right?
What's Liner handling over there?
He just hopped. I got a new phone.
I wasn't here in 2 weeks. I said, which one is it?
Naftali, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
hello. You got to pay attention.
Naftali, excuse me, Naftali.
13?
I've been in and out. We don't care. Nobody else cares. We're trying to hear a share. You come on your own time, 2 in the afternoon, and he's what kind of phone he has.
Rabar, have
And if he bought any new pitten socks this week, what do we care?
Rabar, have Rahmanas on me. You want him coming to me in the afternoon?
Naftali, by the way, you stepped right into that one. You know that, right?
It goes in and out one ear now. He yells at me so much,
Okay. Anyways, so this whole thing with the boat that we finished off last night with, that it's not called a tzibur, right? That was what we left off with. Is that so? What's mashma? That because the olam on the boat really doesn't know each other, that's not a tzibur. That's what the Gemara's last teretz was, right? Hani nami ki yechidin dami. They're like yechidim, right? Right, which means what? Since you're a stranger to each other, that's not called a tzibur. That's what it sounds like. So does that mean that we do away? I'm nothing against the new white shul 2 every hour minyanim, but I'm saying, if you don't have a tzibur that you're davening with, does that mean it doesn't have the koyach of a tzibur? Meaning, if you're not, I go into Landau's or whatever, Shem Shabbos, I daven with. Does that have, that's mashma from the Gemara that does not have the chashivas of a tzibur? What should I tell you? That's what it sounds like. Can anybody confirm or deny something like that?
It's an interesting point.
Yeah, it's that's what it sounds. I don't know. It's so Elamai. So the mussar we could take out of it is for sure is like Yomim Narayim. You shouldn't be running around to different shuls. That you should daven with the tzibur that you daven with your chevra. Right? You shouldn't go to another shul because it has a nice davening or that. No, you should be davening with your chevra. No.
See, Yaakov.
So one second, you shouldn't go to Kalbach Shabbos on a Friday night because you enjoy that? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's why you want to go to a Shabbos. That's one thing. That's not. I'm not looking for kapara, but Yom Narayim.
Uh-oh.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Why? What's the matter? The tent is the chevra daven the whole year.
No, not that. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you let it go once on a Friday night to chap around a Kalbach Friday night. You let it do that?
Yes, because that's
based on what you're saying, you would say no.
Yeah, it might not. Listen, is it tefillah b'tzibur? I'm saying you're going to say you can't make a kaddish because the 10 people don't know each other, right? I don't think you're going to say that. I don't think you're going to say that. So you'd be yoitza. I don't know. Maybe you will say that. But the koyach of a tzibur sounds like they have to have a relationship.
Aaron, he almost slugged up the whole Atlantic City the past 2 days.
What about
there's a relationship because guys, it's a mamish. When you go to a show, it becomes a relationship. The mamish becomes a relationship.
Becomes like a chevra. You become
becomes a chevra. Becomes a chevra.
I hear. Lahavdil, it's like going to a ball game. I hate to say, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yaakov, you hit it hard.
Yaakov, you were talking about the boat. You were talking about the Gemara was talking about the boat. So I'm going to say something. The guys are going to laugh, but if you look at if anybody wants to look at the words, We all live in a yellow submarine. Our friends are all aboard. Yellow submarine was my shayashuv. I mean, it's just a fact. That's a fact. That song, An Octopus's Garden, that was shayashuv 50 years ago. And
That's true.
It was all, yeah. That was
Yeah,
just
100%.
once.
Right.
So what you're saying?
Ian Mendel's article.
You didn't send it out.
Right.
You never sent it out.
Byron Marshall was
I
locked
didn't get it.
behind the Iron Curtain.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
10 million was the 10 million is a chevra, Yaakov.
The who?
Are you?
10 million is a chevra.
I know.
10
That's what
million.
I'm saying.
The Harris
That's what
Street.
Yes, it is. It's a chevra. It's a beautiful chevra. It's very nice. Yes. Is that me or him?
Parrots, your porch is on fire, Parrots.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what it's okay. It's mashma like that. Rabbi Rosner today, I was listening for a few minutes. I was in the car. He was being ma'amid on this point exactly. What does that mean? What is that like? Well, what can this possibly mean? That you have to know each other and this comes out that the
Can I
90,000.
ask where you are? I did have my Gemara last night, and I'm
Bottom
trying
of
to.
Yud Zayin and beis. We're going to be starting from 6 lines up from Yud Zayin and beis. Bottom line is you had to see him a shas with 90,000 people. Okay, so the Olam finished shas together. So I guess I don't know what unifies. What's together? I don't know. So ich weiß nicht. All right, whatever it is. Toshima, 6 lines up from the bottom. Yud Zayin and beis. So Toshima, Shal Bluria Hagiyaris is Rabbi Gamliel. So Bluria the Giyaris asked Rabbi Gamliel, it says in your Torah, right? So now what's up shot? If she's a Giyaris, why is she saying B'Toraschem? Right? So in the what do you call it? In the Masaras Hashas says in the Sheiltis it doesn't say Toraschem, that they take that out. Just Ksiv B'Torah, I guess it says there B'Torah. Asher lo yisapanim. So the pasuk says, right, that Hashem is not going to, literally means lift up his face or show us, meaning there's no pull with Hashem. There's no protectia, whatever you want to call it. It says Hashem is going to show favor to you. Right? So which one is it? Yeah. So meaning it's a stira, right? So Nitfala Rav Yossi HaKohen. Rav Yossi HaKohen he met her, she wasn't good on Allah, and he said, Emshel Chamashal Madav. Then we're going to give you a mashal to what this is compared to. Adam Shenoisha Bechaverei Mana, somebody who had a taina of 100 from his friend. Right? Somebody had right? And hold on a second, yeah. Can I don't have control to mute. Yeah. But anyways, so Adam Shanosh B'Chaverei Mana, somebody who owes his friend 100, B'Kava Lois Man B'Fnei HaMelech, and he's kaveh a time that they go to the king in order to figure out who owes who money. B'Nishbalei B'Chayei HaMelech, and he swears to him with the life of the king that that'll pay him back. Higias Man V'Loi Paro, but then he swore to the king that he's paying him back. Not the king, the fellow who took him to court. So Higias Man V'Loi Paro, came the time he didn't pay him back. So the king got upset at him, and he came to ask to apologize to the king. My own upset. That's that I'm upset at you, that I can be meichel you. But but you have to go apologize to your friend. You owe him the money. So one is talking about averas between you and Hashem, and one is talking about averas that have been on the. So between you and Hashem, Hashem could show favor. He's able to be meichel on his own covet, but ben adam lachaveri, Hashem can't be meichel on behalf of somebody. He could be meichel the religious aspect of it, but the friendship part of it, that you messed over a friend, that you're not allowed to do. Right? Until Rabbi Kiva came and he taught and he said, onto Amr Aleph now, kan koidem gzar din, kan la'achar gzar din. No. When Hashem shows favor, that's before he makes the din. Before he signs off on the din and says that everything's going to be whatever gzar he decides, then he can show you favor. But kan la'achar gzar din, once someone after gzar din, where he can't show you, once he made the gzar din, he's not going to show you favor. Whatever it is that you see from this Gemara, that according to Rabbi Kiva, once there's a gzar din, it can't be overturned. And we were saying that it could be overturned. So Gemara answers, this is also talking about a yachid. A yachid can't overturn a gzar din, but a tzibur can, right? So therefore, and we're continuing with the same yesod, that if you have a tzibur can overturn a gzar din. Yeah. So Gemara, yeah.
I wrote in my Gemara this reminded me in Nebuch when the Yamach Shemam they murdered Waxman, the kidnapped the soldier Waxman 24 years ago, and they murdered him just by lech benching. So one of the reporters asked Mrs. Waxman, "What did you say? God didn't hear your prayers?" So she said, "He heard my prayers, but he said no."
Right. I remember that. Yeah. That was yeah, but that I thought you were going to say that brought a lot of achtas to Klal Yisrael.
Oh, more tremendous achtas.
Yeah.
Everybody was dominating. Everybody.
Yeah. So you're right. It didn't overturn the gzar din. Yeah.
So Yaakov, what about an Adam Gadol like a tzaddik? They talk about it. I'll go ahead. They'll do like a tzaddik will go ahead and daven for somebody, and then the whole thing turns around.
I don't know. That's a good. So that's really going to be further on down the daf. Let's see further down the daf, and we'll see. Right? That could be. What? It could be that that they could change it. Let's see. Weiter. We'll get to it.
That's how the goes are Shemakayim.
What?
That's how the goes are Shemakayim. It's brought down someplace, right? It's not just
except that tzaddikim have been davening 3 times a day for Mashiach. Multiple times the Shemona Esrei, and it hasn't happened. So I'm saying, I'm sorry to be such a look back on that. I'm sorry, but that's, I don't know if that's my apikarsis. I don't know what it is, but strike it from the recording, whatever. Right? But anyway, so the Gemara says on the second line down, gzar din the yachid tanoi. This whether a gzar din can be overturned by a yachid is actually Machlokes tanoim. Why? The Tanya Rameir said like this: you have 2 people go on a bed, and they have the same exact disease. 2 people go up to court. Yeah, they have a din, and they're both equal. They're meaning they have the exact same scenario. One goes down, meaning he goes off his bed, and the other one stays on his bed. One gets saved and one doesn't get saved. So my name's how come there's different outcomes for each one? And this is pretty much the scariest line you can get in any of Shas, I think. That's for you, Yeshua Marchuk. One daven and he got answered, right? And this one daven and was not answered. So how come one was
that's
answered,
the famous Ari Goldwag song. Daven for me, not daven for you.
Oh yeah, well I don't know that song, but I'm not familiar. But all right, I'll take your word for it. Okay, and but here's the next one. Right? So how come one gets answered and one doesn't? So zeh spalo tefila shlema nene. The one who davens a complete tefila gets answered. And if you don't daven a tefila shlema, then you don't get answered. Now I don't want to take away a show of hands. I can talk to myself. Have I ever davened the tefila shlema? I don't. A complete tefillah, concentrating on the tefillah from beginning to end. That's what I assume means a tefillah shlema. Right? I don't know. Can any of us say it?
It sure sounds like it from the audience.
Daven as fast as I do and as quick as I do, it's very possible. I haven't done it yet, but
okay, Peretz, that is shayach. That's shayach. You daven. That's I think ger, right? That's ger's malach. They daven fast because you daven slow and you lose the concentration, right? I think I saw from Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He wrote about himself. He doesn't think he ever davened the Shemona Esrei complete. I think.
Great.
Don't
So
quote-
that,
I know.
that's great for us.
Yeah, I was
Correct.
gonna say, what does that do for us?
Great. That's really great for us.
Yes, I know. That's real there. Yeah,
My guess
wife
is
said
his
to me,
definition is, I guess, what he considered incomplete. We would consider spectacular.
correct.
so.
I will 100% take Reb Shlomo Zalman's incomplete davening. Yes, I will take it any time of the day. Right. Like my wife says to me when I say these things, here comes Mr. Positive, right? He's going to just ruin everything now. Right. Okay. So,
Doctor, you don't know, you gave up on Harris Street a long time ago. You don't know what's going on there now.
right.
I do miss it,
Yeah. So,
especially when it rains.
It says that a person who does daven to tefillah shlema is not the same person. So therefore, that's why the gzar din
changes.
changes.
Yeah. So so there it said. I think who says that? We discussed it a couple of days ago that when you change, like, how is it that you could get a new gzar din during the year if you had a gzar din on Yom Narayim? So you're a different bria than you were before. The bria before had a takana, had a gezar or whatever. This is a new bria. Right? This is a new bria, and that has a different gezar.
So someone born during the year doesn't have a gzar from Hashanah?
What do you say?
This goes back to that vart that I heard about going to the mikvah. What's pshat ma mikvah mataris Yisrael? When you go under the water, technically you're dead. You cannot breathe. So
Right.
when you come back up, it's as if you're a new person. So it's matar you, makes you into a new person.
Oh, very good, Taka. Yeah, that's true, right? So you're saying
That
davening
gave me
is the same.
physics to start going to the mikvah twice a year.
Yeah, I hear. What do you want to say, Naftali?
What were you saying?
Naftali said if somebody's born, a baby that's born during
born.
the year after Rosh Hashanah.
I mean, what's their gzar din?
How they don't get gzar. You just said a new person doesn't have gzar. So someone that's born doesn't have that first.
I don't know. I have no idea.
And you said something about Mashiach. Is it different gzera for the whole klal? Is it per an individual gzera?
You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking the wrong guy. Like I say, when everybody asks me about these things, I got a hard enough time dealing with the religion right here, right now, in real time. What's going on in the next world, I'm not even going to bother. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's one teretz. Rebbe Lazar, I met kan koidim gzar din, kan lacher gzar din. One is before the gzar din, one is after the gzar din. Rebbe Yitzchak Amar, yofet sa'akal adam, crying out of a person. It's good to scream and yell, even before the gzar din and after the gzar din, right? So basically, what comes out is a machlokes whether the gzar din can be overturned by a yachid, right? According to Rebbe Lazar, it can't. But according to the other Tanoim, it sounds like it could theoretically, as long as if you daven properly or whatever, if you have a tefillah shleima or whatever it is, right? Reb Chaim Kanievsky writes that he says that it's almost the hardest thing to do in the what's his name, whatever his name is, that sefer that he wrote. He writes it's from the hardest things to do is to concentrate on davening. Mamish from the hardest things. Which right. What's that joke we said with the guy he had like telepathy? How do you call it? He was able to know what people think. So he walked around the besmedrish by davening. He went over next to one guy. The guy's thinking about his, stocks and all that. Okay, walks to the next guy. The guy's thinking about buildings. Then he goes to another guy, thinking about Kiva and some ciphers and Chumash, Rashi. And he goes over to the guy and says, "Oh, you must be a chashuva person. This is what you're thinking about during davening. What do you do for a living?" He says, "I sell svarim." So it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to daven. Anyway, so the Ma'is, it's a machlokes tanoim, whether the gzar din could be overturned by a yochid. So then Gemara asks, gzar din the tzibur mi mikra? Can a tzibur really overturn a gezerah? V'kasav echad oimer kapsi meira libecha. Wash your heart from bad, right? So which sounds like the bad is you're doing tshuva. You're washing the bad out from your heart. And then mamel, if you do it, then you're going to be fine. Even even if you wash it with Neser and Bayrus or types of soaps. So even if you wash yourself with all that, there's still going to be a stain left, which is mashma that you can't get rid of a stain. If you have a bad thing, you can't get rid of it. My love, kan koidim gzar din, kan lacha gzar din. Must be one is before the gzar din and one is after the gzar din, meaning and after the gzar din, you can't overturn something, even if you're a tzibur. So Gemara says, lo, idi lacha gzar din. They're both talking about after the gzar din. But like kasha kan b'gzar din sheyesh ima shavua, kan b'gzar din she'ein ima shavua. One is talking about a gzar din that has a shavua with it, a swearing, and one meaning a swearing that Hashem is going to give a punishment, and one is a gzar din that there's no shavua, meaning if it has a shavua with it, that's irreversible. If it doesn't have a shavua with it, then it's not irreversible. K'derav Shmuel bar Ami, what's the case of that? Amar Shmuel bar Ami, bar Ami lo Amar Shmuel bar Nachmeni, Amar Rav Yochanan. Minayin gzar din sheyeshim v'shvua she'ein nikra. How do you know that a gzar din that has a shvua with it, that it will not get torn up? Shenemar v'lachein nishpati lebeis Eli im mischaper avoin beis Eli b'zevahu mincha. He says, he swore about the Eli, the beis Eli, that there's never going to be a carbon, or not a carbon mincha that's going to do a kapara for the beis Eli. So what was it? The Eli was the kohen gadol, right? That was all. He was also in last week's Haftarah, right? And his children, Chafni, Pinchas and Chafni, or Chafni and Pinchas, whatever, right? So we had this in, what do we have? It's in Shabbos, no? Brachas, Shabbos. So they used to rip off people's karbanos, right? And they, what else did they do? They also, they made ladies wait overnight for not bringing their karbanos after having babies, right? So whatever it is, they were not good guys. So basically, Hashem said that all the eneklach of Eli are going to die young. They're not going to. The descendants of Eli are not going to live regular lives. So that's an example of a shvua that the gzar din can't be overturned. Fine. Okay. So then these next lines are also a nechama. If we don't daven properly, at least we have the next few lines that we could do. Amar Rava, so Rava said that karbanos, you won't get a kapara, but you could get a kapara by learning Torah. You need Torah and gemilas chasadim, meaning not just Torah. You need Torah and gemilas chasadim, right? Yeah, so that's in itself interesting. Machlokes, it's just Torah and gemilas chasadim. Then the Gemara says, Rabba ve'Abaya. The beis Eli kasu. They came from beis Eli. Rabba dasik b'Torah chayar banshnin. Rabba lived. He was Isaac in Torah, so he lived for 40 years. Abaya dasik b'Torah v'gemilas chasadim chayar shisin shnin. Abaya, who did Torah and gemilas chasadim, so he lived 60 years. So it's quite interesting. So it comes out that Rabba was incorrect. Is that what it's saying? Because Rabba was the one that held that it should be Torah, right? So he did what he said. But he lived for 20 years shorter than Abaya, who said Torah and gemilas chasadim. Sure, sounds like Abaya is the correct one here, right? So, I don't know. And it's interesting also, Taisus discussed it, Rashi mentions it, is because some have the gears of Rava. And Rava wasn't a kohen. He's an anakel of Eli, right? Sounds like Abaya was a kohen. Right? Nobody seems to handle it about Abaya. But Rava, so either was from his mother, right? And some say that it was not Rava, it's Rava. And it's not the regular Rava. Rashi says it has to be Rava bar Nachmeni. Yeah, who was, because it sounds like the regular Rava was not. Okay, whatever it is. But then Taisus also has the kasha from the Gemara in Sanhedrin, which sounds like what Rabba didn't do chesed, right? Rabba didn't do chesed. So Taisus says it's Abaya must have done more chesed. He says Abaya asak tfei. Abaya was more Isaac and chesed more than Rabba. Yeah, okay. So it's a shver Gemara. But I can tell you that, it's an interesting thing that the big Talmidei Chachamim, most of them are Isaac and Chesed too. A lot of it. So how could it be that there's such
What do you
Talmidei
mean?
Chacham?
Torah is chesed.
Good, but I'm saying, so how are they such Talmidei Chacham? They're learning more than everybody else. They know more than everybody else, and they're doing more.
Hashem
What?
gives them siyata d'shmaya.
That's what it must be. No, the mistake is that people don't want to do chesed because they think I gotta learn. No, I'm telling you, at least from what I see this Talmidei Chachamim going around and helping people collect tzedakah and talking to people on the phone for this and that, and you see that Torah doesn't get diminished as far as you see. They're certainly no more than the rest of us, and they're doing more chesed. You're like, what, Rabbeinu Shalom? How does this go? Right? So yeah, I think Zev, you're 100% right that it's coming. If you need siyata to be a Talmid Chacham, you need siyata d'shmaya. That's for sure. So the same siyata d'shmaya that you have if you don't do chesed, I don't know, whatever you do chesed, you're gonna have, maybe you'll remember twice, you'll retain twice as much as you would have retained if you wouldn't have. I guess that's the way it would be. The bottom line is this thing not to do chesed. There's not to do chesed is everybody's got to do chesed no matter what.
Yaakov, maybe that's the way of being mechanech. The olam, they have to.
You have to 100%. You have to do it.
Yeah, but I don't remember who the Maisa was with, but one of them had to go out and do something, and he couldn't learn, and the other one was stayed in learning, and he said, "Enochanami, this was my chiyuv. I had to, because this is what I had to do. But because you sat in learning, you're still a bigger person than I am." I don't remember who it was.
I don't know.
But he says,
Is
"My
that
chiyuv, you have to stop learning to a person or to a levaya." Right. That's the halach. But the bottom line is the guy who got to sit and learn the extra hour still was able to learn an extra hour. Doesn't make it wrong or right, but the bottom line is the guy who got to learn more ends up learning more. You become a bigger person.
Parents, you're saying you should open a beis medrash right next to a basic forest. Everybody else has to take an hour to get there.
That's an excuse if you want to say, okay, there's the reason why I'm not a Talmid Chacham is because I was always Isaac in the chiyuvim of what's it?
Yeah, okay. Listen, so I don't understand. So what do you say? You're saying that you shouldn't go?
That's great. Kosher.
No, that's what his point was. It's not that he shouldn't go. He has a chiyuv to go. But the guy who's Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, the bottom line is that the guy is sitting and learning is still going to be a bigger person.
Who said that the person?
I don't see that.
Hello, parents. Who says that the person going to the levaya is not doing the Torah?
He is doing the Torah. That's what it's to do.
He
but
didn't
the
say that. Parents just said that he's not going to know the Tais. He's not going to know the Taisvus.
Who
Because
says
he
he
went to
won't?
Levaya. He didn't learn the Taisvus.
So who says he won't? I don't know.
I understand, parents. I'm saying fakir from you.
Who says
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
And a chanami. I have to remember who it was. I forgot who it was. I got to try to remember. Good luck.
I hear. Okay. All right.
Parents,
what happened if you didn't go to the Maya or you didn't stay at beis medrash?
Well,
At the boys, you would have wanted it that way.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is. Fine. So that's it. Tanur Rabbanan. Yeah. Then now we continue with this Eli HaKohen. So Tanur Rabbanan, the second thin line, second line up from the wide lines. So Tanur Rabbanan, Mishpacha Achas Ha'izib Yerushalayim. There was one family in Yerushalayim, Shayu Meseh Mason B'nei Yud Ches Shana. Everybody who died at 18 years old. They went told Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai. Amrlahem Shem Mishpachas Eliata. Maybe you're from Mishpachas Eli. Tichsiv Bei V'chol Marbis Beischa Yomusu Anoshim. Anybody that's going to be brought up in the Eli's house, they're going to die as men, young men. L'chu v'asku b'Torah b'chiyu. Go learn Torah and you'll live. Holchu v'asku b'Torah b'chiyu. And they went and they learned Torah and they lived. Vayukayr noisem mishpachas Rabbi Yochanan, and they called him the mishpacha of Rabbi Yochanan al Shemai because Rabbi Yochanan bailed them out by telling them to sit and learn. Yeah, fine. So Amar Rav Shmuel bar Inya mishmei derab minayin l'gzar din shel tzibur she'einu nechtam. How do you know that the gzar din is never sealed? So now he's saying a different approach. He's saying that a gzar din on a tzibur is never sealed. So if it's never sealed, so rather it can be turned over. There's never had a seal, right? So we're asking, "Ein nechtam v'ksiv nechtam avaynech lefanai." Right? Now that doesn't mean nechtam, right? Rabban, this is one of those things. Nechtam, we said nechtam, we're changing the spell, right? It's nechtam means sealed. Here, nechtam means a stain. Right? Nechtam avaynech lefani, it's going to be a stain in front of me. Right? So it's going to stay a stain, which as the previous Gemara did also, the stain is that represents a avera, and it's always going to stay. So you see that it's not going to be overturned. Ella, meaning it's not going to be sealed. I mean, it's going to be sealed. It's going to be sealed because it's there always. Ella avagav shenechtam nikra. No, what he means is even though it could be sealed, it can be torn, which is what the Gemara has been saying. Tana shenemar koya lekenu. I'm sorry, Hashem lekenu b'chol karenu elov. Like Hashem, our God, whenever we call him, meaning he's Hashem for us whenever we decide to call. So therefore, when we decide to really call out to Hashem, he will overturn the gzar. I hope everybody recognizes those words, right? Right. Look out for Hashem when he could be found, right? So that sounds like sometimes he can't be found, meaning not always is he available, right? So Hasan b'yachid, Hacha b'tzibur, like we've been saying, that's for a yachid. But a tzibur can always find Hashem, right? So if tzibur can always find Hashem. B'yachid emas, and when could a yachid find him? When it says Dirshu Hashem b'himatzai. So when is he himatzai? When is he found? During Aseret Yemei Tshuva is when he could be found. Right, which answers the question that people ask. I understand we say Salach Lanu every day in Shemana Esrei, 3 times a day we say it. So what's so special about Aseret Yemei Tshuva? So no, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, Hashem makes himself available to be found in order to ask him for tshuva. Right? The other times during the year, you have no idea if he's found at that particular time or not. Right? How do we know this? Because Hashem is novel. Right? It was after the 10 days, and Hashem killed Novel. He what do you call it? He made a magef and he died. So the background story to this is Dovion. I don't know, I'll defer to him, but basically Novel was asked by David HaMelech to help out. He was a wealthy person, and he was asked to help out, and he said no. And David HaMelech sent 10 people there to help him out, and he didn't even feed them. He only fed them the minimum, whatever it is. He was really, and he called David HaMelech, what do you call him, an Eved or something? He was very disrespectful. So he got punished. 10 days later, he died. Right? So that was a good, Dovi?
Yes, that was very good. Very accurate.
Thank you. Okay. So Amar Rav Yudah Marav Keneged Esed Legima Shenasa Novalav De David. It's the 10 days that it took him to die is the 10 days that Novel gave the 10 he gave each one of these 10 people a little bit to eat. So for each one of the little bits, so that was the 10 days that he lived, and then he died. So Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Ravu, Elu Yud Yom Shemin Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. So those are the 10 days. You meaning he gave him 10 days to do tshuva for what he did to David. He didn't, so he got beat down. So that's what we know, that the 10 days, we have 10 days to do tshuva, and if we don't behave ourselves and we don't do tshuva, then we're going to be beat down. Fine. But Rosh Hashanah kol ba'olam ayvin lefanu k'bnei Mron. Everybody goes in front of him like bnei Mron. So what's bnei Mron? My k'bnei Mron. So the first shot is the one that the whole world uses. Hacha tergimu, right, to k'bnei Imarno. Here, meaning in Babel, they touched it. That's like lambs. Yeah. So that's what we did. Like sheep, you go under like for Maisa when every 10th sheep gets branded. So that's a similar thing. Rish Lakish Amar, gemilas beis Mron, like the high area of beis Mron, right? I don't know if that's Meron. Is that Meron? Mustama. But either way, it's very thin, like at the top of a mountain, and you can only walk one by one. So it's one by one that the people go through and get judged. Amar Yudah Amar Shmuel. It's like the soldiers of beis David, right? So I guess they were counted one by one. I'm not so sure why beis David and other armies didn't do that. Whatever, these are 3 mashalim for people that get counted one by one. But they all get looked at with one staring. right? So Rashi says, even though they what do you call it? Even though each one goes individually, there's still the big picture also gets taken into account, right? Exactly how that works, I'm not exactly sure, but clearly, again, you see that there's some sort of tzibur inyan to this whole thing, right? Fine. So he created their hearts together, and he understands all their actions. My kamar, what does this mean? That Hashem created everybody and they put their hearts all together, meaning that everybody is right. Like Rashi says, everybody's heart is the same thing. But obviously, we know that ain't the case. Right? Just look at the many shuls there are in the world. You know that is not the case, right? That everybody's heart is the same as everybody else's, right? The one who created, right, looks at their hearts together and then understands all their maisim. Yeah, so meaning there's some sort of double, some sort of double thing here. What are you saying, Peretz?
If it wasn't that Aaron Kaplan brought in what's his name's niggin, I would say this was the song of the daf. But Aaron already beat me to it with the English version.
That wasn't the real word.
It's the Yachad Libam, no? It's a Ben David song.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, I got it. You got it. You win because that was actual words to the daf. I hear.
Aaron, I'm sorry. You pray for me, I pray for you. I'm sorry. This one works better.
Okay, fine. All right. Zog the Mishnah. Yeah, I wish that was the hardest part of tonight's stuff, to be honest with you. Fine. So Zog the Mishnah. Right now we get into the heavy Rosh Hashanah, the Rosh Hashanah limudim. So al shisha chadashim hashluchim yotzim. For 6 months the shluchim go out. By the way, I started watching it today on the All Daf app. There's Rabbi, I think Haber from Baltimore. I don't know. I think that's his name. He's what?
Howard,
Heber, something. So he's a real bucket. I was Dr. Zakaris, I was looking for what you showed me told me to look at, but I started looking at his. He mamish explains from the I saw it for like 2 minutes, the whole moon and how it works with the new moon, Ravana. I think it's Kedai. Doesn't have to be done yet because we're not mamish up to those sugyas, but before it's Kedai. If take 10-15 minutes and look how he discusses all these types of things. It might be very helpful. But anyways, so Zog the Mishnah. Al shisha chadashim hashluchim yotzim. For 6 months a year, they send out the shluchim to let everybody know when it was Rosh Chodesh, because there are Yom Tovim in those months. Al Nisan mipnei Pesach, Al Av mipnei Tainis, obviously Tisha B'av, Al Elul mipnei Rosh Hashanah. Right, you got to send them out Elul because Rosh Hashanah is a month later. Al Tishrei mipnei Takonas HaMoedos, and Tishrei they also have to go out, which is one is going to ask why you got to send them out on Elul and on Tishrei. Right, that's 2 consecutive months, but because of the Takonas HaMoedos, because there's a lot of Yom Tovim. Al Kislev mipnei Chanukah, Al Adar mipnei Purim. Ukshay Beis Hamikdash Kaim Yotzen Af Al Iyar mipnei Pesach Kotan. When the Beis Hamikdash was around, then they went even on Iyar because Pesach Kotan for Pesach Sheni, right? Which is again, why do you need that for? If right?
What is this talking about? But it's mom.
So why are you asking? Because why would they go out for Av when there was a Beis Hamikdash?
Oh, man.
No, what did they do before Hanukkah? What did they do by the first Beis Hamikdash?
Right, and a Chanami. So it's got to be talking about the second Beis Hamikdash. Did they keep Av in the second Beis Hamikdash? Did they keep Tisha B'av in the second Beis Hamikdash?
Why not?
Yes. They mentioned it later on. I'm thinking of the
Well, later on it says that Tisha B'av is worse than the other Tanasim because it had multiple bad things. But in the second Beis Hamikdash only had one. Unless you count the what do you call it? The Meraglim. I don't think that counts.
Why did they only send for 6 months? That's
because we're gonna discuss it in the next couple of blot. We're gonna discuss it because Gemara is gonna say that sometimes they did send out during the beis hamikdash. The Gemara is gonna say later that they did send out.
when the Mishnah says 6 times they send, by Rishon, by Sheni. When is it talking about?
By Sheni, and Mustama even after by Sheni. It's got to be after by Sheni, right? Because the last line says beis hamikdash kayim. They even went on here. That means until then, the Mishnah is discussing after the bias. Right? Yeah, we have to see in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to give a whole lot of variables on this. Right? Okay, so let's see. So the Gemara. There are fast days on Tammuz and Teves also. Right? So why don't we go out on Tammuz and Teves?
Tammuz is
right. So what about Tzom Gedalia? We're going to discuss that too. But Tzom Gedalia, they're already going out for Tishrei. So that's not a kasha. They're going out for Tishrei anyways. Right? They went out on Tishrei, they went on El. But Tammuz and Teves, they have to go out to the island, should know when to fast.
We went out on Adar? We didn't go out on Adar.
Huh?
What about Adar?
Adar, Mishna says Adar.
Oh, it says Adar?
Yeah. Damar la Antamid Beis, Damar Rav Chana bar Bizna, Amar Rav Shimon Chasida. Ma'id Yosef Koyamar Hashem Tzvakois, Tzayma Ravi, right? This is the puzzle in Zechariah, right? Tzayma Ravi, Tzayma Chamishi, Tzayma Shvi, Tzayma Asiri, Beis Yehuda, L'Sasan, L'Simcha. So the fasts of all the 4 Tanesim are going to be for Klal Yisrael for happiness. So what does that mean? Correlate Tzayim. So the pasuk calls it a Tzayim, a fast day, but Karalu Sasan v'Simcha, and it's called Sasan and Simcha. So Bisman sheyesh Shalom, Yeh L'Sasan L'Simcha. When there's going to be Shalom, when there's peace, which basically means Lefi Rashi that there's a beis hamikdash, Yeh L'Sasan L'Simcha. These sad days are going to be for Sasan and Simcha. Ain't Shalom, but if there's no peace, then it's going to be for a time. Then it's going to be a fast day. Yeah, which we have to see weiter how this is very negaya to Bisman Hazeh. So Amar Papa, Hachi Kamar. This is what. So whatever it is, you see that there's fast days on Tammuz and Teves. So how come the Shulchay Bezin don't have to go out? So Amar Papa, Hachi Kamar. Bisman sheyesh Shalom, Yeh L'Sasan L'Simcha. When there's Shalom, meaning when there's a beis hamikdash, then these days are going to be happy days. Yesh gzar Malchus, right? But when there's a gzar from the Malchus, meaning that they're on top of the Yidden sign, then there's going to be a fast day. Ain't gzar Malchus, but ain't Shalom. If there's no gzar Malchus, but there's no Shalom, meaning there's no beis hamikdash, which is basically nowadays, right? Right now, unfortunately, there's no beis hamikdash. But right now, at this point in time, Baruch Hashem, there's no gzeras malchus. There's religious freedom, right?
Give it time.
Hopefully not, but based on past history, right? But right now, there's not. So then, Ratzu Misanin, Ratzu Ein Misanin. If they want, they could fast. If they don't want, they don't have to fast. Why is this so important? So the Mishnah Brura brings this down in his explanation of why people that are chaylim don't have to fast, even minor chaylim. Why pregnant women and nursing women don't have to fast, and these type of things, because when they were makabel on themselves, so it seems like Klal Yisrael was ratzu misanin. They voted. I don't know when they voted, but Klal Yisrael voted that they're gonna fast. But when they voted that they're going to fast, they left some members out. They left some things out, namely chaylim. They left out a bunch of things. Chaylim. They left out pregnant women, nursing women. They also left out that the fast doesn't start at night. Fast starts in the morning. They also said
that's why the chasadim b'chlal, the women don't fast.
Yeah, that's because they consider them chaylim. Yeah, right. When the fast is not at night, and me'ikar adin, which we'll see later, that you have bathing and haircuts me'ikar adin are mutter, because again, it was a voluntary acceptance of the fasts. So since it was a voluntary acceptance, therefore they can accept it whichever way they want. Right? It's an important yesod in understanding why there are leniencies on the 4 fasts. Because again, the whole thing is optional, and we accept it on ourselves with tnayim.
So why the Ritzis Chassidish? What's the difference in And I'm saying, what's the difference?
No, they just hold like the chasadim say. If a woman is not pregnant and not nursing, that means there's something wrong with her, so she shouldn't have to fast. So either she should be pregnant or she should be nursing, and if she's neither one, that means she's shvach. That's what they say.
Really?
I don't know if they say it.
That's priceless. That's priceless.
Yeah, that's yeah, whatever. Fine. Okay, so that's that. So ihachi tisha b'av namis. If that's the case, so meaning, so what's the teretz of Gemara? Since these tanesim are optional, so let's say the shluchim don't go out and Klal Yisrael misses that. People miss the fine. Okay, meaning you don't even know for sure if anybody was going to fast anyways, because it was a voluntary thing. When there was peace. Someone says, okay, Yachi Tisha B'av Nami, Tisha B'av too. Some are up and down. Shani Tisha B'av Hayol v'Hukvul Avei Tzaras. The Tzaras were doubled on Tisha B'av. Damar Mar b'Tes B'av Chara Avayis Rish b'Rishayna u'B'Shniya v'Nilka the Beitar v'Neschar Shaha'ir. And so it was the two destructions happened on Tisha B'av, and Beitar was also knocked down, and what do you call it? Right, and Yerushalayim was plowed, right? So it's just a bad day all the way around. So that's not voluntary, and that's why we fast Tisha B'av by night, because it's not a Ratzu Masan and Ratzu Ein Masan, and we got to keep Tisha B'av. We're supposed to keep it. Right. Yeah. So Taisus asks that kasha. There were 5 tzaras on Shavua B'Tammuz. Yeah. So Taisus answers that the Churban beis hamikdash is stronger, right? And also it was meaning there was 5 different things. Taisus' second teretz is that there were 5 different things that happened on Shavua B'Tammuz, but on Tisha B'av it was the same thing. Destruction. It was all destruction and destruction, right? Yeah. Fine. So let's see about the Tanya. Amar Rav Shimon, Arba Dvarim Hayu Rav Akiva Darish. Ve'ein ani Darish K'maisei. There's Rav Shimon said that there's 4 things that Rav Akiva dashin, and I don't agree with him. Tzayma Ravi, the 4th fast, right? Zet test b'Tammuz, not Shavua b'Tammuz, the 9th of Tammuz. Shavai Hufka Ha'ir, because that's when they broke into the city. Shenemar Ravi, or the B'Chaydish, it's really should be B'Chaydish Ravi B'Tisha LaChaydish VeYechzak Harab Be'ir V'Lo Yayu Lechem La'am Haaretz V'Tipav Ha'ir. There was a hunger and a famine, right? And there was nothing to eat, and they broke into the city. V'Mai Karilei Ravi. How come it's called the 4th fast? Revi l'chadashim. It's the 4th of the month, right? Tammuz is the 4th month, starting from Nisan. Tzayma chamishi zeh Tisha B'av. Shabbai nisa beis Elokeinu. V'amai karli chamishi l'chadashim. It's in the 5th month. Tzayma shvi'i zeh gimel b'tishrei. That's Tzayim Gedalia. Shabbai nera Gedalia ben Achikam. That's when the Gedalia ben Achikam was killed. Right? He was appointed by Nebuchadnezzar Gedalia, right? And
Rosh Hashanah, he was killed. What
did you say?
He was killed in Rosh Hashanah.
Well, that's not everybody agrees to that he was killed on Rosh Hashanah, but yeah, that's part of it. But we'll get to that tomorrow's daf. So Mihargo, who killed him? Yishmael ben Nisani Hargo. Yishmael ben Nisani, a Yid, killed him, right? So that's so that led to mamish the churban. So lamedcha sheshkula misas and shatzadikim ksrevas beis Elokeinu. The death of a tzaddik is like the churban beis hamikdash, because we're equating it with the other 3 tanesim, which were all about the churban. Why is it called shvi? Shvi l'chadashim, the 7th of the month, right? Tzayma series asar b'teves shabay samach melech bavel Yerushalayim. That's when the Melech Baba went on Yerushalayim. Shenever Yidvar Hashem Elai b'Shana Tshiyis b'Chodesh Asiri b'Esel Chodesh Leimor ben Adam Ksav L'cha Es Shem Hayom Es Etzem Hayom Azeh Samach Melech Baba Yerushalayim. Right? He says the Ben Adam right over in my name that the king of Babel started laying siege. Right? So why is it called the 10th? I don't know why the Gemara keeps asking that. By now the Gemara should have figured out what the answer is. Right? Why is it called the 10th? Asiri l'chadashim. It's the 10th month. But it should have said the 10th month first, because that came first. Which is first? First was the siege, then they broke down the walls, then they destroyed it. So why? How come it went last? Because I wanted to say it in the right months, but really, the first of the fast should have been mentioned as the one that's coming up in 2 weeks from now, right? Did I say I mean, not 2 weeks, no, 6 weeks from now, right? That 7 weeks, right? That it's what do you call it? Because that was the earliest of the whole churban of the beis. That came first. Bani, any other came. So Reb Shimon says that's what the way Reb Akiva says it. Ani, I don't say like that. Ella, tzayma series a chamisha b'tevis. The 10th, the 10th fast. I mean, the fast of the 10th. That's talking about the 5th day of Teves. Shabbai bas shmua legoila shahuksa ir. That's when the rumor went out there that the city, meaning Yerushalayim, was damaged. Shenemar b'hi b'shtei esrei shana b'sha b'asiri b'chamisha l'chaydish l'galuseinu ba'ilai hapalim Yerushalayim leimar huksa ir. That's it. It's the guy that escaped from Yerushalayim came and said that it's in bad shape. Also, Yom Shmua Yom Sreifa. The day of hearing it, when you hear bad news, is like the day that it's going down, right? Now, which means comes out that according to Reb Shimon, Asara B'Teves should really be on the 5th day of Teves, not Asara B'Teves, right? Okay, but that's what comes out. That's a Machlokes. And it seems that I like my words more than his words. Shani Omer Arishan Rishon, because I'm going in order. I'm talking about the first. The first fast is the one that started the whole churban. Val achron achron. Who Amar no al Rishon achron val achron Rishon. But Rabbi Kiva would say, no, the first is the last, right? Val achron Rishon, and the last one is really the first one, right? Fine. But meaning the reason why it's backwards like that is because we're counting it according to the months of the year. But I, meaning Reb Shimon, is saying I counted according to the order of the tzara, and the first tzara that came along was a tzara b'teves, or the 5th of Teves. Right. Itmar, Rav Chanina Amri batul Megillas Taanis. This is a whole new sugya, but I guess let's start it now. Yeah. So there was something called Megillas Taanis. So Megillas Taanis is a Megillah of all the happy days that happened to Klal Yisrael. Purim and Chanukah were part of it, but there were many other days of happiness. So Purim and Chanukah, for whatever reason, are the ones that survived it, but the rest didn't. But what's called Megillas Taanis because since it was a happy day for Klal Yisrael, you were not allowed to fast. Right, which we're going to see in tomorrow's daf. Now, you're not allowed to fast on that day, you weren't allowed to fast the day before and the day after either, because of the happiness of it. So what's with it nowadays? So Rabbi Yochanan Rosh Lakish, Amri loy batul Megillas Taanis, right? So they say it was not. Rav Chanina Amri batul Megillas Taanis. All those days were batul. So Machlokes whether it was batul or not batul, right? Because this is what the pasuk says. When there's shalom, these days are going to be happy. Ain't shalom, tzayim, and when there's no peace, then there's going to be a fast. And the Megillas Taanis are the same as the Tanaisim that are mentioned in Nach. So therefore, they're no longer. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Amri loy batul Megillas Taanis hani hu talinu rachmana b'binyan beis hamikdash. Because the 4 days, the 4 Tanaisim, that's telling the Minyan Beis HaMikdash. Aval, Hanoch, Kidekayim, but the Megillas Taanis days, that stayed. And since it stayed, and it stayed even through the whole Golus. Right? So the Gemara asks, Maser Rav Kahana, Ma'aser B'Gazu Taanis B'Chanukah B'Lud. They made a gzar that there should be a fast day on Chanukah in Lud. B'Yard, Rav Eliezer, Barachatz, and Rabbi Eliezer went and he took a bath on the day that they said should be a Taanis, which shows if he took a bath, shows that he didn't believe that this was a proper thing to do to call it a Taanis. Rabbi Yeshua when it took a haircut, Go out and fast on what you fasted. Meaning they said you have to fast because you made a fast day on a Yom Tov. Meaning go do a fast because you did something wrong. So Rabbi Yosef, so whatever it is, you see that Megillah's Taanis, these Yomim Tovim are still around. So Rabbi Yosef, Shani Chanukah Dika mitzvah. No, Chanukah is different because they put a mitzvah with it, because they made a mitzvah to light the menorah. The other days, it was just a day to celebrate. There was no specific mitzvah they put to it, but Chanukah they did. So then, so just be mevatel Chanukah, mevatel the mitzvah, which is a fascinating teretz, kasha. I mean, right? He's just saying, okay, let's just get rid of Chanukah. But what his kavanah of his kasha is, if it's part of the Megillah's Taanis, and you're saying that we're mevatel all these days of the Megillah's Taanis that it says, right? So then why not just get rid of Chanukah too? And you won't light menorah anymore because we don't keep Megillah's Taanis. So Elam Rav Yosef, no, Shani Chanukah, the Mefarsim Bisa. It's Pirsam Anes, right? So since we're not yet 30 days before Chanukah, right? We're just close. We're close, right? Today's Chav Beis. Yeah, we're a day off, 2 days off. Yeah. Okay, but anyways, Chanukah is different because there's a Pirsam Anes, right? So since it's Pirsam Anes, then we don't get rid of Pirsam Anes so easy. Yeah. Okay, so let's the next kasha is a little longer, so we'll stop over here. Yes. Oh, shkoyach, I forgot to tell the island that my daughter had a baby girl. My daughter had a baby girl. So yeah, amen. Thank you. So I will not be here Shabbos. What?
You're gonna be in Chicago? Where you going?
Not Chicago, Florida. Hey, Chicago, Florida.
Broadcasting from Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
We're in Florida.
North Miami Beach.
Gewaldig, you should have simchas and nachas.
Amen. By you too. Like I say, everybody, I'm going to the Bayswater of Florida.
Oh, stop it.
It's still Florida.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
You know, might as well get working on the next korban. Now that we learned it, you know, so.
Yes, wait a minute. Are you going to give share on Friday or no?
Yes, Bez Hashem, Friday and Motzei Shabbos, yeah.
When are you going to leave?
I'm leaving Friday morning. My wife went today, I'm leaving Friday morning, Bez Hashem. But no sheer Shabbos, Jesse, sorry.
Do you need supper?
It's okay, I'm not gonna be home either.
Yeah, there you go.
Supper tomorrow night?
I appreciate you matching up my schedule. It was very nice.
The Shar program is making a 6 pidyon abens tomorrow night. If anybody's interested in going, it's about to be.
What's shot in that? I wanted to know what's shot in that. The 6 guys.
3 vadais. There's 3 vadais and 3 suffix.
What do you mean by that?
3 bavadai are bechors and they need a pidyon aben. The other 3, they're not sure. They're not sure exactly if they had a pidyon aben. I don't remember the whole story exactly. If they really are leviim, if they're not leviim. So
the car goes by the father or the mother?
Mother.
Ah, okay.
Mazel
Where are they doing this?
Shkaya, thank you.
Where are they doing this? Garrett doesn't have a pitch in a bend, right?
A ger?
Yeah, guys McGuire.
Yes, hello.
No.
I thought
Where they
maybe
doing
it was like 6.
Finally home. I checked up on the kids.
Which kids?
Yours. I know.
They're right here.
I know, babe. I know. I was in the house too.
Yeah.
To the
I'm babysitting.
What was that?
It said she's
Mom, I'm glad you're watching the kids and got an eye on them.
Not watching them.
Yeah. Here's one.
Yeah.
No, they weren't home when I went over there.
Because they were here looking for you.
I know. What could I say? I was by Santa Leia and I was doing homework with the North Woodman children.
Very nice.
But I didn't leave till 6:30.
Very nice.
Mazel tov, Rebbitzin.
Are you going to Florida also, man, or no?
She was invited.
To where?
Florida, you're not going?
I was invited to Florida when? Which trip?
I guess
Which one? By the way, it's so cheap to Florida.
I thought maybe next Shabbos you're all going.
I'm not going. I'm coming back Friday, I think.
You're going the whole week?
No, I'm going for Shabbos. I'm coming back Sunday. And I'm going back on Wednesday.
And coming
It's
back
like it's $60 round trip on JetBlue from Kennedy. My wife went today. She's coming back Monday night to teach for 2 days. She's going back Wednesday afternoon, coming back Friday morning. I made her a ticket for the next one. She's off Wednesday afternoons and Thursdays. So every Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, she's going to go down. It's like $60. It's crazy. It's cheaper than going to Lakewood.
I was about to say it's cheaper than driving to Lakewood.
Isn't she
Yeah.
gonna stay there for Shabbos?
No, she don't want to leave the kids there.
Do you need a vaccine?
Really?
Vaccine for what?
To fly.
Yeah, Florida, they make you have the vaccine liner. Yeah, sure.
I asked to fly.
It's crazy. She was the only piece of luggage on her flight. She said 90% empty. The flights are like, I don't know what's going on. It's like in the middle of Corona. Icky also in his flight here, he just went back. Icky said it's the empty. Everything's empty.
Wow.
I flew out.
Boys,
of
come in the
Kuwait
kitchen. You
yesterday.
want bread? Jacob, you
See
want
him.
gluten?
I was actually
You want some
3
gluten?
yesterday.
No, thank you.
I mean,
What
So
is
where are they
that?
doing this pidyon event?
Anybody want?
There's no pins. It's good.
No, where are they doing the shop?
Maybe
Pidyon
we
event?
Shopping event. Oh, so and if I decide to go to Pigeon event, it's 9 o'clock tomorrow. So I might pull the dot for earlier if I decide to go. I don't know.
Where is it?
Oh, Gershon, doesn't work for you?
Doing it first?
You're unmuted, so you can talk.
It's not working. I don't know why my sound's not working.
It is right now.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you just fine.
We don't hear you.
Oh,
We
sure.
hear whatever.
What type
Back.
of
Parents, what did you do to my thing? The whole shear, it's not working. Now it's working.
what
There you go.
I have
type
terrible
of pain
service.
medication you taking?
What?
Jacob, maybe we should fly down for the see him on Rosh Hashanah.
Not a bad idea.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
What does
Simon,
South Bend have to
you
offer?
invited too.
Okay, Simon, come on, man. You could take the Amtrak. Come on, man.
I'll be there. I'll see you in 7 weeks.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go do some babysitting job. I know it's my own kids. It's not babysitting. I know.
Still babysitting. We're men. It's all good.
Babysitting. It's babysitting.
Yeah, all babysitting means I'm gonna do is that they want the iPad to watch a World Series, and that's that.
Mhm.
The World Series?
That's
Who's in the
exactly
World
what I
Series?
do. Every Sunday, same thing.
There you go, Parrots.
Who are you rooting for?
Oh no.
You don't know.
Hey, the World Series is
Can
on
you
tonight.
answer me where they're doing it?
If you're my friend,
What?
you
The
In
shop.
that Minion on Lawrence Avenue.
Maybe on Morris Avenue.
All right. Yashikaya.
Okay, Zayas,
Baksha Hashem?
yes.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Bez Hashem by you.
Hey, man. We've got a bas mitzvah coming up. Chill out, man. That's it.
All right, eventually.
You're gonna come out. I'll fly you out for the bas mitzvah. You'll have to puddle jump a little bit, but whatever.
As long as I don't have to speak.
Okay. See you later.
Zayas.
Bye.